So dice already. Stream's active. Tablet's screwing up like usual. Finally, and then let me change the title on this. Fuka, change your name on Discord. Do you hear me now? Alright. Alright, there we go. There's that. Alright, got that up. D&D Beyond. Oof. Geez, there's still people wanting to join on the rejected potential form, but I forgot to take down. Ugh, and someone wants to play a Minotaur. No. Never happening. Oh yeah, and by the way, Dolkins, we use the rejected potential chat once we actually start in game, so just as a little heads up. It keeps it so it's out of the general chat. Okay. And then there's this. What else am I needing? I'll add that later. Babysitting and D&D, so wish me luck. Cameron, how are you babysitting? Are you babysitting the Chihuahua again? Oh. Yes. Okay, so that needs to go up. That's pulled up. Let me edit my extension. Oh, not what I was looking to do. I can't see the chat right now, so I'll read your thing in a moment. Extensions. There it is. I have to edit something, so give me a minute. Alright. Gonna be silent, this one. Wait, so Fuka's gonna be silent, Cameron's gonna be silent, and Zaya's gonna be silent. What, do I need to make an actual rule that doesn't allow that? Because I'm getting kind of tired of silent games now. Just, ugh. There's Fel.
Hi.
No sheesh to me, Fuka. It's annoying as a DM when you're trying to get a game going that people are just going silent.
I can talk, but I have to make sure I keep my voice down, because if I get that baby to sleep and I wake him up excited, I'm gonna punch myself in the nuts.
Now there's an interesting idea. Alright.
Hi, Phil. You're cuddled up with Vanzurwind. Remember this. Have fun.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I remember everything of what was going on. Fuka, turn on your mic. Stop being depressive pain in the ass. God damn it. One day. You are.
He's not being depressive. He's just being anti-speaking. It's like
It's
anti-Semite, except it's not as
That's antisocial is what you're
insensitive.
looking for.
No.
Because that's
Anti-speaking.
exactly
I know
what
what
he's being.
I know what antisocial is. That would be the apartment I would get because I am antisocial.
Go out, experience the world. And Fuka, turn on your frickin' mic.
It's okay.
It
We
is
can just
not.
read
Until
what
the
he has
crazy
to say.
person.
It is not okay when the DM's is actually doing a channel or a whole channel and series for it. It is not. Cameron's
I
willing to
will go out and
risk.
explore the world
Mm-hmm.
when the crazy bitch on the third floor moves out who wants to fuck my brother.
Okay then.
Spent 3 hours the other day outside asking people if they have HIV and if she could contract it from them.
Excuse
Okay.
me?
Maybe we should go back to
Yeah.
having you as mute. Fuka,
See?
turn on your mic. You've
Oh,
made a
big
mistake.
mistake.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've joined the. To be fair, this is actually the group I would consider to be more clean and kind and polite.
That's
So
the worst it gets.
no, it's not.
At least he doesn't have Tren in the group.
Yeah. Or the fact, that Tren last night managed to castrate his entire party.
Wait, are you serious?
Yep.
Well, Zilpip couldn't have kids anyways.
No, it wasn't Zilpip. It was their Broken Knowledge group, so it wasn't the Grim Legacy's main group. This was their backup, the one that Fuka decided not to join for last night because he fell asleep.
Hey, don't blame him for falling asleep because, no offense, I passed out earlier too last night and I couldn't fall asleep.
Good for you. You pass out and miss one of my games, and you know what? You're gonna hear to no end from me. At the
I know.
same time every fucking day. It's not hard. So I assume
I won't pass
Fuka's
out for this
watching.
one. If we were going at like 11 p.m. at my time, I'd pass out.
Fuka, did you watch the video yet, by the way, man?
Password notes. This the dipshit.
Gotta love pre-show. And also I gotta figure out if Zaya's gonna be here today. I skimmed it, mostly just. God damn it, Fuka. You're
You're on thin ice.
trying to be a kinder person. Somewhat. You skimmed the beginning. The beginning had nothing going on except us bitching and joking and then making fun of Cameron for trying to thinking he could pay his internet bill on his first stream.
Ow, my feelings.
Shh, you've been hanging out with this group long enough. You shouldn't have feelings anymore. Hey, if he had suddenly gotten to the point where he made, enough money to pay his internet bill on his first stream, I'd fucking quit streaming. Most I've ever made a day is 15.
My first real stream, I made $100.
Alright, shut the fuck up and go away. You're banned from this group. God damn it. That's some bullshit. Alright, we now know Cameron got. He didn't have a club foot, he got breast implants. That's gotta be it. Low cut tops. Fuka, I hope because of the fact that you're mute that your character ends up immortal, imbecile, and incapable for the next 1,000 years. I really do.
I don't know.
And I hope Satan rejects him.
Then Zorwin's gonna become the new Satan at this point, because he's just gonna fuck everyone.
You're making him cry. Stop.
I'm not. Fuka has no feelings. He has to have a soul first.
Yelling in the background.
That's Cameron's mic, I think.
That was a dog.
And
The
Fuka,
dog's gonna wake everyone up.
you don't have a soul.
That was a dog in another apartment.
And you broke the rules. You never put hoes before your friends, man. That's not cool. Especially dudes that you don't know in a city that you are. No, I don't care if you know or if you are getting laid. If you don't know where the place, you're not from there, you don't go off with random strangers in the car. He could have ended up on the other side of the fucking state and dead, and I would have never known. Nor would I have cared. So.
What are you going on about?
So when Fuka came out here, he decided twice before session he was gonna go for a walk, and I say in air quotes. And
wait, did someone try to pick him up in his
no,
car?
he went up and he met up with guys from Grindr twice, to get in their car, to go off with these dudes, and just vanished. And the second time is what pissed me off, is because it was when me and Wolf were hanging out with him, and he just decided to leave. It's one thing, he was hanging out with me for all 2.5 weeks, whatever. I didn't really care. Meant he got out of my hair for a little bit, and I got to relax. But he leaves.
No.
And he could have ended up on the other side of the state. He had no idea. He had not familiar with Portland. He had never been to Portland before. And he could have ended up dead.
Ooh, what about this time with a mom?
Okay, she was going through a breakup with the dude, and B, the kid wasn't his. It was his stepkid. So I had every right, and they weren't married. They were engaged. I found out. And she's doing fine now. She's gotten really good at throwing axes. We're still really good friends.
That's mildly terrifying, but okay.
Oh no, she's one of those wild sorts, that likes to go out and take lessons in weird things. Like she's got different martial arts and stuff, especially on our game night.
That I was able to break Paladin by giving it levels in Bard and Rogue.
When are we going to start exactly?
In 10 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna make food real quick, and
Go ahead.
then I'll be back.
See you in a minute.
I had Subway.
Did you just call me a slut, Fuka?
Yes.
Fuck you. I didn't go off in a random city that I am not familiar with and go and hook up with some dude in his car.
You was about to.
No, I wasn't. I would never get into someone's car that I didn't know in an area I didn't know.
You had your chance to fuck Fuka. He was with you for 2.5 weeks.
You don't want that. He looks like mini Black Dynamite. He is not attractive by any means.
I mean, Black Dynamite at least owned a whorehouse.
Yeah. And Fuka, you're a little robot-y.
Slash orphanage. A orphanage.
I don't know. I can just tell you no. That was ridiculous. And the amount of men that Fuka has slept with, I ain't chancing that.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
It was one. Oh my god.
That I know of!
One.
That I know of. You disappeared a lot. Also...
By the way, did you all look at my homebrews that I posted in the main chat?
What was that?
Did anyone look at the lightsaber that I made?
No. Nor did I care to. Sorry. Wasn't part of my campaign. I had other things to do.
All it does is cast daylight, making the sword glow brightly, and then minor illusion, it makes a whir sound. No other bonuses. It's completely cosmetic.
Congrats. Also, new guy, question. What do you want to be called outside of your character's name?
Go nuts.
Go nuts. All right.
Go nuts.
Go nuts is the nickname.
How do you do?
Yeah,
You take it literally, so.
You'll get used to this group. Go ahead.
My name's Corv.
What?
Corgi?
Not Corgi. Shut up, Fuga.
Corgi.
You goddamn robot. Motherfucker, I'm gonna start calling you manslut if you don't shut up now.
Fuka, you sound like Maya. Go back off.
So it's you say it was Corv?
Yeah, like the car Corvette, the first 4 letters.
Oh, Corv. Okay, so not enough.
I was named after a movie character. 2 people here were named after cars. I have no clue what Fuka was named after.
Death. Death by annoyance.
I think he was more named after a freaking old cartoon, but I'll leave it at that.
Fuka's not his actual name. His actual name is a royal. Yeah, it's a Muslim royal title.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on that.
Except his is spelled weird comparatively.
So is Maya's name. It means beauty, but it's spelled really weird too.
And you are anything but that, Mr. Clubfoot.
Pardon me, I was named after a very, very specific movie.
That's
Con Air.
Congratulations! The only good Nicolas Cage movie you got your name from. Wait.
Put the bunny back.
Was that his name in that movie? Was that the character he played?
Cameron Poe.
That's right. I just remember him being called Poe. I was thinking for a second that Cameron was the psychopath that what's his name played. The fucking dude who chopped a woman's head off and then rode around this town with it on his head for a good couple miles.
What is he?
I don't fucking remember the guy's name. I know he is plays by Buscemi. Something
I
like
have
that.
no clue. I don't know.
Steve
horror.
Buscemi. No, it's in fucking No. God damn it.
It's horror.
It's Con Air. It's from Con Air. You dumb shit. You don't
You
even.
know, it's funny that I was named after the movie, but I haven't had the chance to watch it.
Oh my god. Go away.
You are a failure.
Do me a favor,
They
Cameron.
said-
Go get text Zaya and tell her she needs to get her ass in here.
By the way, ignore the Scooby-Doo movie in the background. It should be too quiet for us to hear.
We can't hear it.
Oh my gosh. I won't lie, I was almost late. Well, technically I was. I woke up at like 5:33
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I checked the time and I was like, oh shit, there's a game right now.
No worries. You're in It's just pre-show. So
I
it's
know, but I
you're good.
panicked.
Ugh, not a problem.
If you would have woke up, if we would have started without you, the Jorwin would have just done funny things to it too.
I'm gonna draw on this dog's face.
And
Oh no, not that kind of funny.
Cameron, I swear, if you do manage to kill Ven somehow, some way, you come up with a way that's legitimate, I will make you play the awakened pig that is Robert.
What is an awakened pig named Robert?
So, Zilpip, aka Wolf, made a character. Oh, I hear a baby.
Yeah, that's Angeal.
Have fun. So yeah, Wolf's character Zilpip's clone Pipliz cast an awakening spell or ritual on Zarus's pet boar or pet giant boar after giving it a beard. So he now has created a new species of race or creature called called an awakened bearded boar, and that is what Robert is. And guess what class Robert is?
Tell me, please.
He's a wizard with 10
Of
intelligence.
course.
He is a wizard. He is going to be the worst wizard, but his strength stat's really high, so
He's gonna be that mace wielding wizard.
that works.
E2 will have an animal friend.
Yeah.
He casts punch in the face.
That's called Mr. That's Mr. Fisty. And he's not allowed in this campaign anymore because I got in trouble for that.
That's because it's copyright infringement. That comes from Fallout.
It's not copyright infringement because AKA they can't copyright something like that. Learn your copyright
Mr.
laws.
Copyrighted NPC.
Mr. Fisty.
Oh.
And
Close.
it's not copyrighted. Again, Cameron, you can't copyright a name. Or at least, well, that's not true. You can't copyright a name without a lot of fucking money. And I'm talking Disney level of money, because, Mickey Mouse is actually copyright. But that's a character, not a name. They can
Mr.
copyright
Fister
a
is
character.
too.
Yes, they can copyright a character, but they cannot copyright a name. So basically, if a character exists in another form of, most likely video game, assumedly, depending on how the copyright claim was filed, that has not only has the same name, but shares very similar design and general overall appearance, then yes, in that case, you could actually
He
get
was
in
a
trouble.
sex robot.
Oh, I remember this.
Fallout New Vegas.
Cameron, I hate talking to you. I'll be honest, I think Trent's more intelligent.
Yeah.
No, I'm just running on about a total of I'm running on a total of about 10 hours of sleep for 3 days.
I don't care, you're an idiot. Hi, Fuka. Oh, good, he's rebutting. Alright, Zaya, where the hell are you?
I texted her. I'm not getting nothing. I'll text her again.
It's summer, I
Maybe
think.
she overslept like me.
No, it is summer vacation for you lot, so. Well, actually,
Not for me. I'm job searching.
I think she's the only high schooler in this group, so. God, it makes me feel old when I have to deal with you a lot. But
Oh, okay. Here's something funny. The other day, I was over here hanging out, and she had something to do the next day, so my mom went and took her. My mom waits outside for an hour, expecting it to go fast, and it's not done. I tell her mom's waiting for her in row 6. She goes to aisle 6 in the store, looking for mom in a black car in
okay.
aisle 6 Walmart.
Wait, Zaya?
Yeah.
Well, we never did say she was the brightest bulb amongst the bunch. Brighter than a few of you,
It was
but
funny because she thought row 6 meant aisle 6. And then when she realized it, she was mad at me, but she couldn't stop laughing.
theoretically, I mean, that is a safe assumption, given she's talking to
Except
you.
I said row 6 in a black car.
Hey,
She drove her car into the Walmart.
I was gonna say, I mean, I've heard of weirder shit in a Walmart, I'll be honest. Speaking of which, hi,
Not to
Zaya.
mention, the Walmart here has literally has the label at the end of each row, in the parking lot, at the end of each line of parked cars, row 1, row 2.
Jeez. Hey, you know what they say. At the end of the world, you'll have guys at the end of in a Costco saying that they love you. All right. Since we now have everyone here, the DM is going to, of course, start the session because that's half the fun. We aren't using any tabletop simulator today, so don't worry about that. A good chunk of today will probably be normal stuff because, given the fact of you idiots, not Corv, but everyone else that I've met, yeah, I'm not.
Being very high combat avoidance.
Well, can't be worse than last night. All right. So, welcome back to the D&D session with the Rejected Potential, who truly live up to their name. I am the Dungeon Master, as always, and I am here to continue their story. Last time we left off, the group managed to completely finish up poor Blue/King / Peasant, with many worse nicknames, managed to go and get himself charging into the black mist of death, and upon exiting, becoming the well-known and historical character of Venzorwin, who we didn't totally forget the house name of because it's been a while. Upon doing this, Venzorwin, along with Azaris and E2, almost got themselves sucked into the mist once more, which then, because of this, Venzorwin had to make a deal with the god known as Logolthus. Not happily so, and not really having room to negotiate, he was forced into the position. Zaya,
Shields would be useful.
Zaya, unfortunately, was almost molested by a dwarf smith, one of the very few apprentices to Ogum, the famous rum smith. And lastly, the party decided to retire after Zaya and Vukiak, there we go. Why did I say Fukiak? Vukiak and Zaya tried to return to collect their items, in which pissing off both the smith and refusing a quest by the king of the Isle of the humans, have decided to retire for the evening. Come morning, there was a spear, and it wasn't the spear you were looking for. Come morning, with the fact that Zaya and Dibis took up one room, Ven and E2 in another, and of course Zaris and Vukiak in the last. That should tell you everything of what poor Cameron is thinking. And we thought Fuka was the weird one. Alright. With the sleeping arrangements comes morning, a quiet and somber morning. You find that for Zaris, you are alone in the room once more. Zaya and Dibis, of course, is a quiet morning. Not much is going on in the inn. And Ven wakes up with a mouthful of hair. Which is not really unusual given his character. As the group awakens, coming down into the inn, that was so wrong. Given that she's right now a dog, that's an image we don't need. Um,
He has no class.
that's very true. As you come down into the
You
inn,
said a 700 to 7,000-year-old man had to have class.
that's true. Zaya and Dibus, as you enter into the main portion of the inn first, ordering up breakfast, tossing a few coppers their way, you see what looks to be a dwarf in very rough-looking armor sitting in the back corner, eating a meal. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. I'm a dwarf, aspiring smith, and out to find the legendary smith himself.
There you go.
This makes me feel bad for my last character having proficiency with smithing tools.
Yeah, but you know, he was also pretty much useless in all regard. Alright, so
Teach magic.
there isn't another
Use.
spear, is there? No, Zaya. The dwarf in the corner though does seem to be, you know, very familiar in many ways. You've seen people of his type before in patchy armor. It's not uncommon to find dwarves who do typically tend to travel out looking for materials. I don't even want to know what that is. He does seem to, or he does seem to be relaxing, kind of enjoying himself overall. Um, Dolkin, for yourself, during the early morning, you actually end up running into a rather large gnoll. Gnolls being a very rare race in the world, most of them very primitive, who had been seeking out a smith to work on his personal spear. Upon requesting your services and not being able to really do much without materials at this time, he explains that, or why he's looking for it, and kind of giving you a rough over of the group known as Rejected Potential, and that he was currently leaving. That if you were looking for work, that might be a good place to start, as one of them is still looking for a spear, and as well as to have their own items to be worked on. He also described the main leader as being a tiefling who walks around with a cat. Zaris, if you're not going to turn on your mic, I'm not going to read your thing.
Do you want me to read it for you?
Nope, not in the slightest.
Does my mic work?
It does, perfectly clear.
Thank
Gosh,
goodness.
you sound better than you normally do.
Yeah, my headset wasn't working, and so I was like, oh gosh. Not mute, not another mute.
Yes.
I'm over that phase.
So yes, Zaya, you see this dwarf in the corner who seems to be very much a smith, carrying familiar tools. His armor is rather kind of roughed up looking, not in very good regard, and he seems to have some weird not a weird set of jewelry that seems to be more holes in pieces of different types of metal.
And he introduced himself to me all formal, like,
I don't know. Dolkin, do you want to introduce yourself, or are you going to watch from the corner that you're sitting in while enjoying a free stew from the...
you're gonna just stare at the tiefling woman eating her breakfast with her cat?
Does this look like the person that I was told about that was the leader of the group?
Yes, she looks she looks very much like the way Vukiak described her, and also the fact that she's walking around with a cat, which you immediately recognize as one of the clans of the Tabaxi. Yeah, it seems about accurate. There aren't many Tabaxi in these parts of land.
So I will go over and introduce and mention that I've heard she may be the leader of a group that's looking for an extra hand.
Ah, yes, that would be me. Zaya Ravensong at your service, and I do like a little curtsy, and I'm like, I wasn't aware until just now that Vukiak left, but that explains why I didn't see him. He's usually up first. So you're looking to join our group?
Hey, it looks like you could use a little bit of help,
Oh,
and I'm
honey,
always
how drunk are you? Of course, I'm
That's
not to be rude, but our group isn't exactly known for getting into the best of situations. So I just want to double check that you're 100% sure you want to be involved in the stuff we get into.
well. First of all, I'm a dwarf. I'm always a bit drunk.
Okay, fair enough.
And I
Strong
need
for a dwarf.
I need to prove my worth. I need to be in battles to prove that the armor I've made is worthy of it. So I'm looking to join up.
You make armor.
Of course, every smith does.
Ah, well then you'd be a welcome addition to the group. The last dwarf we had was a cleric, and he healed sometimes. He got bounty hunters after us, and now he's a perverted, I don't know how old elf, but he's
And on cue, as she mentioned this, down comes Zaris,
Hi, talking about me already?
sits down at the table,
about me last?
silent. Ven Zarwin, the tall elf, very old elf, walks in. This dude, Dolkin, to explain, he looks ancient.
Zaya looks irritated as soon as Ven appears. She's like, oh god.
And behind the elf comes a what looks to be a sheepdog of sorts following it.
I pat Sheepdog and tell her she good girl. She gets whiskey later.
Yes.
The dog just actually speaks in common.
It's a talented dog you have.
Don't.
She's more than a dog, lad. You'll
yeah,
learn
and I
someday.
don't know why she's hanging around with him. But yes, I mean, assuming everyone else in the group doesn't have any arguments against having another person, especially one that could make us armor. Do you make weapons as well?
I mean, of course.
Yes.
I could probably use a better weapon than these damn daggers and this crossbow.
Could you make a weapon to kill an immortal person? Because currently I'm looking for one of those.
Like right now?
Yeah, you see, Ben here can't be killed, and that's a problem for me.
You can't
Because-
kill him. Quit plotting his death.
Well,
Sue,
I was
it's-
cursed and I
it's
sold
not-
my soul to save your brother. You might want to back off a little bit.
Yes, well, maybe if you treat me with some respect, I will return the favor. If I
You
recall
don't really deserve respect with how you treated the last inhabitant of this body. He healed you, partially
well,
because I
stop
wanted to
me
screw
and
you,
my
but he still
friend.
healed you.
As you can see, Dolkin, we have already started fighting, and the morning is just getting started.
Well, that's
As you guys are talking, my head is just whipping back and forth between who's talking.
It's like a tennis match.
Yeah.
Wimbledon. We're all ready.
Zaya's like, does not like Ven. Just, yes. Well, let's see.
Unless
the
I'll make
dwarf-
sure you stay healed, but you just gotta show a little respect first. You want respect, give respect.
I don't give respect to those who the first impression upon meeting me is trying to sleep with me and flirt.
Plus, that's every woman. You're an
Are you
adventurer.
guys
You really
done
shook it
yet?
off.
You're making a
Especially if
horrible
you're a bard.
impression.
The barkeep is watching poor Dolkin and just shrugging at him.
This is what I was trying to warn him about. You know, besides getting into very stupid situations like almost dying to a giant blob of slime and walking into black holes and coming out as a totally different person, she gestures to Ven angrily.
I kind of owe that to a guy named Tren. He threw a
We
javelin with my
don't
soul attached to it.
exactly get along that much. It was more a business arrangement, and now I don't think it's that. It's more so just kind of stuck together. So that's a warning.
That's how adventurers groups
Dolkin,
worked back in my day. You all
as-
worked together just to survive.
As they're arguing about something or other, you also see
I've gone back to the barkeep to get more beer.
you also see the other tiefling who's in a little more leathery bits. Looks something of a magic caster. Is just sitting there making signs with his hands.
Last I recall, Zaris, you were the leader before you died. So now that you're back alive, I believe you're the useless leader. And she kind of like looks at him with a little like irritated glare. She's like, "I haven't seen you do much leading."
Continues
After,
to.
you know, the whole
Not to mention, I sold my soul for him, and he didn't look too eager to be alive.
Yes,
I'm
well,
back at the
I don't
barkeep
think
asking if
most
he's
of
got-
us are.
I'm
Mhm.
at the barkeep asking if he's got to-go cups.
He looks at you and says, "I got a cask for you. You're gonna need it." And heads into the back.
If it's whiskey,
Oh, we
share it
all
with the
need
mutt.
a cast.
Not the mutt,
We
the
all
butt,
need
the
a
nice
cast.
dog.
Please share some with me.
Oh my god, he comes out.
Pour it into a little bowl and put it on the ground.
He comes out with this big
a
barrel of
small-
mead, sets it on the bar, and says, "Good luck."
You know what, Dalton? You know what? I have a business proposition for you. If you can, do you want to be the new useless leader of this group? Because I really want to retire and I really want to go as far away from this
We're
group
making
as
him leader
possible.
already?
I'm
He just
offering
got here.
that
He can be evil.
if he can find me a job somewhere else from here, I am 100% on board to leave.
Well, we don't really have much hanging around here anymore. We might as well go
You
earn some
retired
gold
again?
because someone seems to have stolen all the king.
The incident with the gnome, I didn't say retire from him because I'm kind of being forced to work for him, but I just mean retire as in not associate with you guys.
Doken,
Stop going into black holes.
as you
fog.
hear, as Zaya continues to moan on about her terrible life, and how it sucks being the leader of Misfits, you hear the mention of a gnome. And of course, being on the Isle of Man, it's an island. This is mostly most you see humans. On occasional, you'll see a dwarf or two. But gnomes are very rare in this part of the world, and even more rare to hear about people working for them in this part of the world. Just as a side note.
And that was a story about how we ended up in a time traveling incident. Saver, did I tell you about that? Yeah, that wasn't fun. Let's see, what other situations did we get to? I covered the Kraken, I covered the blob, I covered the Ven.
Zaya Dolkin looks completely lost.
The
Yeah,
eyes are
she was
glazed
just,
over.
yeah, she was just ranting on and on during this situation, just, like not even bothering to see if you paid attention. She's like, the whole reason this started is because we were almost murdered by an orc army. Did I mention that? Yeah.
I've tuned it all out. I've just started using mending to fix up my armor.
Alright. And Zaris continues to sign at Zaya, who's the only one who seems to understand him at this point.
For the love of what? Because at this point in life, I don't think either you or me love much in life besides alcohol, brother, and we already have the dog drinking all of that.
At that, you see the dog drinking out of a little stein of beer.
There's not much love going around right now for us. And the only kind of love, maybe, if you want to call it that, is Ven flirting with every woman in the vicinity.
At this, Dolkin, you realize that although she's mentioning this, she also something that catches your attention when she says something about a bar or a time traveling bar. She also kind of seems to glaze over something that catches your attention for a second. It doesn't seem very important at the moment, but it seems like something that she is trying to avoid.
No,
You should ask
don't
about
now.
it,
I'm having
Dolkin.
flashbacks. I'm having flashbacks.
And suddenly she gets red in the face and seems very embarrassed.
I'm just gonna sit back down next to Divis and start stressfully braiding his tail fur again. That's her only way to stay sane, I guess.
Dilkin, you're starting to, really wish you hadn't taken that knoll up on the offer to come here. You've heard tale of a good smithing job out on the other side of the world, and you're starting to think maybe that's more worth it.
Just
Just a
muttering
power nap.
myself.
What I miss?
Dolkin's disturbed, Zaya's stressfully braiding, and Zaris is making sign language.
Mental breakdown, which is normal nowadays for her.
Alright, perfect time to head out. Let's gather some stuff and leave.
We have to head off. There was talk of Gnomish lands when Vukiak was here, and I also have business there, so I say that's our next stop, assuming no one's opposed.
Perhaps I can swindle my daggers.
Let's get going anywhere but here.
The barkeep nods at the dog.
Whiskey. Yes, but we need to bring whiskey for you, lass.
Zaya just starts to drown her sorrows slowly. Yes.
How much whiskey can we bring?
Are you asking me out of character, or?
Who's gonna carry it?
She was
That's-
asking Ven in character, because, like, I'm not carrying kegs of whiskey, but I'm not against having one or two.
just lost a dog while walking. All right.
Brother, I also had business in the Gnomish lands before.
As you start to recall that there was two main quests, or major quests, well, three major quests that were given to you guys. The first being to deal with the Gnomish war that's going on. Supposedly, a old woman is pushing for the throne of the Gnomish lands. Another was to go find out what's been going on in the Tiefling lands and why communication has been fully cut from the mainland. And then the last was to head to Dragon's Gate to explore the lost tomb city of the Gnolls.
Never mind, I changed my mind. I want to go to the Tiefling lands. I forgot about that option.
Well, you realize that going there will probably take you twice as long of a trip as because it'd be going all the way around lands that haven't even been charted by ship yet.
Fine.
Wait. Oh, this is heavily out of character, by the way. Wasn't one of the options allowing us to have a crossover with the other group?
That's
Potentially.
what's in Dragon's Gate.
Well, then we
This-
should go there so we can meet the
That's
other
my
guys.
fault. We're
That
gonna
would-
meet Zilpip, the man who.
That's the same situation as the Tiefling lands. Again, you guys
Oh,
are in the
both of
middle.
them?
Yes, you guys are in what would be the extent of a large version of Hawaii. So currently, or sorry, not Hawaii. Wait, oh
England?
god, I've got to actually pull up a map. Give me a minute. Do you know how long it's been since I've actually had to remember
Britain,
this?
Great Britain.
No, that would be the Orcish lands. Give me 2 minutes. Give yourselves a second to think about what you're doing. Alright, yes, no. Sorry, there we go. You'd be basically in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean. For those wondering, that's the territory in between the Americas and Europe. So
Yeah.
to go around, you'd be going into uncharted lands, taking a boat through uncharted lands if you wanted to go straight to the Tiefling territories, as well as to get to Dragon's Gate, because both of them are on the same side of the continent. Going to your east and heading through the Gnomish lands would actually be quicker, because that is charted out, and there are more ships going that way, and you don't have to pay so heavily to get that or to go that way.
Yeah.
That's where we should go.
I might want to level up before we face off with the other group or whatever as well. Because
We're gonna fight them?
No, but I'm saying if we're going to do a crossover, I'm pretty sure they're above. How many levels are they above us?
They are all level 10 to 11.
Yeah, so if we do a crossover with them, there's gonna be.
We need to
some
power
deadly
level real quick.
monsters.
Just
Yeah.
slaying everything.
Remember though, it's D&D. It's not about your level, it's about how creative you are with your character. Now, as you
We have
guys
a
start to
very
realize
creative
this,
group.
you had also been told that there was a ship waiting. There was probably a ship waiting for you in the town that you guys originally came from, where Piplis has set up his workshop.
Dun, dun,
That
dun.
is worrisome. That Piplis bastard is short and reminds me of Zilpip.
Dolk, at the mention of Zilpip, you recall a tale of a gnome that has been being called the smallest dragon. He's a very dangerous and well-known fugitive who's currently got a $2 billion gold coin bounty on his head after he supposedly melted a dragon. Like
Wowzers.
a full adult dragon. So, and after hearing these people are working with someone like that, that does kind of slightly concern you.
It wasn't by choice for any of us.
Likely story.
I mean, if
I am
you
the
want to
least amount of
rewatch,
choice. I was
out of
just a soul
character,
until I
if you
stole
want to
this body
rewatch
thanks to Logos.
the YouTube videos, it was not by choice.
It's also at this point, Dolkin, that you notice that both Ven and Zaris have these weird necklaces around their neck that seem to have contain a strange white fluid.
Yep.
I don't even want to ask.
Don't.
Ask about the
No, but
colors.
if we get
It's
into an
important.
anti-magic field, you think you'd be able to tinker this thing off me? Don't worry about cutting my head off. It'll be fun.
You want me to
And if
do? You want me to
don't,
cut your head off? Is that what I heard?
I mean, he might
I mean,
survive.
it'd be fun
it.
because then we might be able to pop the necklace off.
Wait, didn't his head already come off? Why didn't the necklace come off with it?
That's a good
No
question.
one took
You
it
guys
off.
carried my body wrong.
Maybe it's magically imbued with his soul now. Or something.
As you
Maybe
lot
he has
continue to
soul.
talk in here, you realize the other patrons that were in here have slowly left out of awkwardness of dealing with you lot.
Oh yeah, we should get going too.
I'm such a social outcast now. This is awful.
Yes, let's continue on this, young Vass.
All right. As
Everyone's young to
Gnomish
Venzorwin.
lands it is. Everyone agrees with the Gnomish lands.
I just have to avoid my exes there.
I get
Alright.
a refill and I say, lead the way.
Alright.
the keg is half empty.
I carry the keg.
Just saying. This is
Oh.
your last chance to change your mind.
No, it's I
Too
already
late.
I got a full mug. I'm on the way out.
All right.
Okay.
As Zara
Follow the
starts to
dwarf.
sign,
No,
the dwarf who doesn't know at all what's going on or where he's going.
Nope.
Okay.
Venzorwin doesn't either,
we're
so
leading away.
we're kind of at the point where it doesn't matter who's leading. We're a lost bunch anyways.
Oh,
No,
God.
To the
Zaya
winds!
remember where it is.
Yes, Zaya does. So
Yeah,
does Zaris.
Basically, no.
I mean, and she would know the way back to that one cave.
So as you guys start to head back, heading south, leaving the outskirts of the town, of course, as you guys start to slowly walk out, Dolkin, you get tossed a coin from the barkeep. It's a silver, and the guy just whispers, "Thank you," and goes back to cleaning mugs.
Wait, was there any barmaids in there that I forgot to hit on?
No, we're moving on. All right.
Some ladies as we're walking out of town, just like
No,
everyone's avoiding
Yep,
us.
every girl gets a flirt.
As you guys are already on the outskirts of the town, heading off, you guys manage to start to slowly head there. No, it takes about a day to get back down. Passing by the bloody bloody cave that you guys had stayed in a couple of nights ago. Realizing that
Hey, that's where I was first brought back to consciousness a little bit.
well, technically
memories.
you've had consciousness ever since you were at Bastion.
Shut up! I don't want to remember that.
So yeah,
Don't
you
make
see
me make Venzorwin be a Deadpool.
the blood is still on the ground. You can still see plots of fur everywhere. Zaya, for a second, you see where you were pinned down and beaten the crap out of by your teammates.
I heard you like it rough, lass.
You can see a skeleton that is still seems to be sitting over a hole in the ground. Its flesh slowly has gone away at this point. Throat ripped out, yeah.
This is what it was like back in my day.
Dolkin, as you're walking by, this looks like a full-on battle went on here of death and destruction. As you,
And Venzorwin just Venzorwin's fists are at his side, just breathing in deeply, enjoying the sight.
Is there the hole
Freaking maniac.
with the mage that Itu is in still?
yeah, it's still there. There's a skeleton on top of it now that E2 burrowed through.
I am not commenting on anything. I am.
As you can
shivering.
see, the spine of
No,
the
no, no,
skeleton is busted.
Venzorwin has this. Venzorwin has this. Lass, you did good there.
No, 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 no! Don't remind me.
As you
Oh,
remember
God.
the fact
This
that you
started-
burrowed through a body as a
I didn't know
mole.
He was underneath me.
Oh, you mean above you? Oh man. All right. Yes. Go ahead.
I'm like, oh, I missed it.
Yeah, that's it.
Just by a few days,
You're
lad.
so lucky.
Just by a few days.
Avon.
As you guys continue walking,
Flashbacks.
day turns to night, and it gets into the evening. You're still in what looks to be a rough prairie. A few rabbits here and there
Can't
scurry
touch the
by.
light.
Well, it's not. It's around 9 p.m. at this point. You guys can still see pretty well. In fact,
Okay.
everyone in your party has at this point dark vision. I believe.
Okay, good. I don't have to worry about that. I can
Dark
probably swap that
vision
spell out
spot.
next time.
Yeah, because I think even Dolkin, because as a dwarf, yes. So yeah, you guys, as you continue on, I assume, are you gonna make camp, or are you gonna choose to march on through?
How long
It's
have
too
we been
early to
traveling?
rest.
You've been marching since early in the morning. It's now 9 p.m.
Yeah.
We can go for like 2 more hours.
I mean, in character, Zaya's probably a little tired, but I mean, if everyone else is pushing on, she's not gonna get left behind.
It's up to you guys. What's the plan?
Do we want to keep
Wait,
walking?
this is shady.
Last time we
Wait.
stopped to rest, I got almost murdered by
Lass,
a
we're not
giant
gonna stop
golem.
walking until we make it where we're going. We all can see in the fucking dark this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dibbit, Dibis can. I'm gonna just kind of shuffle. She's gonna shuffle her way to Dibis and kind of try to throw puppy eyes and be like, Dibis, could I get a piggyback ride?
You realize Dibis is a lot smaller than you, right?
I thought he was 1
Wrong,
foot.
he got cyborg implants. Maybe he's super
Yes,
strong
he
now.
no, he has good legs and he has permanent haste on him, but he is still like 3 feet tall. Yeah, he's
He is
small.
much shorter than you.
Tired.
You would have a better.
It's a last ditch effort to be
Yeah.
lazy.
Piggyback
Well, I'll
ride.
carry you. Wink.
No. Okay, never mind. I'm walking.
You can carry me then.
Oh. Yes.
I jump into his
Aya's
arms.
just, like, speeding ahead. She's like trying to get as far away from the two as possible.
Dulkin,
Like,
at this
dragging
point,
Dibis by the hand.
I gotta ask: are you regretting your decision?
I'm regretting not bringing the whole keg with me.
I'm carrying the keg. What are you talking about? It's on my back. Strapped it there.
Oh God! Put a little spigot in the back and just start grabbing glasses as you're walking,
Okay.
downing them.
Oh yeah.
As you guys continue walking through the night, you see on the occasion a shadow move off in the far distance of larger sizes. Your assumption is that there are larger predators out there, but they don't seem to be really coming near your lot, seeing as you are rather numerous.
Scared him away.
And we're
Right,
making a
numbers.
lot of loud noises.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
Dulkin's
not-
wearing some hefty armor that does kind of make make
I'm
noise.
not exactly stealthy.
Neither am I. I'm wearing full plate armor.
Yeah, so between the two of you, you managed to pretty much scare off most things that would come near you just from sound alone.
That and our arguing.
Yes, most of the creatures seem to roll their
Yeah,
eyes as you guys
right.
continue walking by. So yes, as the night goes on and day comes again, around roughly about 8ish in the morning, you finally manage to make it up to the town, and immediately as you're walking up, you can sense a very strong magical presence inside this village, and a lot of smaller magical presences inside this village.
Wait a minute. I have a question.
Magic.
Pipla's definitely met Venzorowin before. Would Pipla's recognize him?
Yes, you would,
Can
theoretically.
I roll an
This is
Arcana?
gonna be fun.
Yep, go ahead, Zaya.
Alright, let me go do that.
Sure.
I got
I walk
18.
straight towards where I think Pipla's is.
18. All right. Give me a moment and I will give you the exact description as I pull up what this is.
Oh boy.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's always fun
got
when the
18.
DM has to look it up.
Is it the bounty hunters again?
No, but you do get a slight flashback.
Oh gosh.
Alright.
Just kind of like look at Dibis and I'm like, don't almost die again.
Okay.
please."
As you are starting to sense it, you sense a very strong magical spell that seems to be on the spread out around the entire place. It seems to be some simple glyph designs of some purple coloring, with a simple blade design in the center of each of them. You don't know what this spell does. Someone in their party actually does, but they can't say because it's from another character of theirs. But
I
you.
don't remember what it does.
It's not you I'm referring to. All right. As you, but you do sense that there are glyphs all over this place. In fact, they're intermittent, almost like mines.
Guys, we should stop. There's a lot of glyphs here and lots of very triggerable places, and I'm unsure what they do. But knowing the person who we believe is to be based here, I would assume they do horrible, horrible things to us.
It can't be that bad.
Yeah,
Do you want to go
last
step
in
on
my
one and
arms.
trigger it?
Lassie. Shush.
Ven,
They
you're
are terrible.
immortal, right? Ven, you're unkillable, right? Do you want to go
Drowning
step
now.
on? Do you want to go?
I'd
trigger
rather
one of
not
these
because now
glyphs?
there's a god going after my soul. I have to figure out how to kick
I
his
thought
ass
you
later.
were Wait, so you're killable? Zaya looks
Possibly.
suddenly excited.
I can die. I'll just come back later and be more annoying.
Well, could you do that with one of the glyphs and make sure it's not deadly?
But there's other people living here, so it can't be that bad.
I have this. I'm
Bounty
gonna
hunters
scream
killed
out.
them
I'm
all.
gonna scream out in my most insulting voice ever and most
Oh,
annoying
gosh,
when I can get.
no.
Bad Blitz! Get your ass out here and tell us how to get past the
Zaya,
glyphs.
stepping away. She's not associating with Ven. She's gonna. Can she walk around like the perimeter of the town and look around?
The glyphs are everywhere. The only place they're not is the water.
Well,
As you see, this stone stronghold is set up. Dolkin, this looks like a very well designed town. Looks like a typical dwarven town on the beach, or set up on the beaches of the small seas. This would be what looks to be a very well fortified and meant for in case of naval battles.
Would I have any knowledge of
Did
where
Piplis
would
hear
like
me?
where safe spots would be on a dwarven field like this?
You're not sure if it was made by a dwarf. It looks like it's dwarvish. If you want to give me a history check on that, though, you can go ahead to see if you would know any secrets of your own.
Don't
Wouldn't he have
Desire-
advantage because of dwarven stone cunning?
That's true. He does have
Desire-
stone cunning. Yes. What, Zaya?
Okay.
Did can't she communicate with like Piplis telepathically or something, or is it just one way he could tell?
One way.
With her?
You have an orb to call him.
You do have an orb to call him. Dolkin. Yes. Go ahead.
Do you have some special thing you do for rolls, or should I just roll things?
D20 plus your history. If you want, if you don't have a dice, you can use dicey
And I have advantage, right?
because you have stone
Yep.
cunning.
I don't know what the roll things are.
It's
Advantage means you roll again.
no. He's asking
Yeah,
what dice
the
is. A
command.
dicey. It's /R and then 1d20 plus whatever your modifier is. So that
And
would
type
be
ADV
an
and you'll
example.
roll twice, I do believe.
Nat one.
Don't. Luckily, that's not my dice. Although last night this thing, my d20 only
Wait,
rolled
are you sure
twos.
that's right? It should be like.
Nope.
No, you don't have to. Don't put ADV. Just do
Like
the
that?
dice. Yeah, you can also do that. I just do 1d20 because I usually put it for numbers how many there are.
I just do it twice for advantage.
Take the higher number.
Hopefully, Dicey is forgiving.
So it's a 9, and roll a second time. See what you get, and that's an 18. There you go. Yeah.
Everett
So
spoiled me.
looking about, you know that there should be a secret passage outside the back of the thing, because it does. The way the town's sort of designed, there seems to be a small little mountain it's dug into, slightly, and there should be a secret entrance designed, that should be able to be activated by just saying activate in Dwarvish, very simple very simple command word that should allow you through the mountain and into the back of the stronghold, if this was made by dwarves.
If it was.
Mm-hmm.
I will
Let
offer
me
that
check.
as a suggestion to the group. Like, there might be a way in through the back. If you want to give that a shot.
That might be a good idea.
Let's do it.
Yes, Zaya, what were
I'm
you
petting
saying?
it- I'm petting it to this entire time.
Okay. Zaya, what were you saying?
She was agreeing with going
Okay.
back, and I was double checking my languages.
All right. Well, I don't think
Wait,
you have to
so
worry.
Zara likes to take it in the back.
Oh, god damn it. Alright, as you lot start to slowly make your way around the town, making it to the
That was
back
before
little
Liz
mountain,
got pregnant.
you manage to get to the other side of it, and as you're looking about, Dolkin, you kind of feeling up on the mountain, trying to figure out exactly where this door is. You finally feel what feels like an invisible barrier that you grasp onto. That seems to be the door.
Is there any sort of writing around it that would have that passcode on it?
Again, you think you don't see anything, and you assume that the traditional word of just activate in Dwarvish would be the typical password that they'd use. It doesn't seem like this is supposed to be very common for people to find, because most of this land is inherited by humans. They wouldn't know about this.
Then I will just say activate in Dwarfish.
All right, as you do, the door suddenly appears as this massive stone door and opens up for you guys. And on the other side, you see what looks to be the butchered bodies of the entire town, and where they've been chewed on, mashed up, broken.
This is where the bounty
Hey,
hunters
what the
put
hell
them.
happened here?
But there's
Bounty
no
hunters.
sign of the gray beasts that you guys had fought before.
I don't want to go in.
The
No,
smell
I
of
protect
Dracula.
the
what we
smell
faced
of death
here,
is strong on the air,
and
though.
I'm starting to not like this idea. This is underground, correct?
Yeah, well, it's inside a mountain, correct?
Does anyone have?
Well, if you have a way to contact the freaking short
I
bastard that's
can-
in there, it might be better to do that.
I can try, sure, but I don't know how willing he is to pick up my calls. So I guess I take out the orbs.
Okay.
But did Piplas tell me how I use it to contact him?
Nope.
Nope.
Start bashing
boy.
it on a rock.
I'm gonna like hold it and
Focus magic into it.
yeah, do my best to like focus magic into it and be like, hey, Piplis, we're back from our trip. We got the samples from the black mist you wanted. There's glyphs around the city I can detect. Would that harm us if we were to enter the?
As you're continuing to talk, it goes, please leave a message after the beep.
Oh my gosh.
Me on voicemail again.
You know
Just
what?
like-
I'm gonna try something. I want to try something. He'd sense magic crossing that, correct?
Yes, probably.
I'm gonna cast thaumaturgy right on the glyphs where she says they are.
I'm backing up away. I'm several feet. I'm
I jump out of his hands and I back away
Step
too.
back 25 feet before I do it.
I'm
'cause I'm not-
kind of it
Dulkin,
several feet away.
as you are just standing there looking at the perfectly good entrance, you watch as the elf decides to start casting magic spells at what was nothing more than described as an explosive mine.
Oh my gosh.
And the rest of the party backing away heavily.
Several feet away. I'm a god.
Dwarf, get back before this blows, because this is gonna be fun.
And immediately as Ven Zorwin
Short man.
casts this magic, it sets off the entire thing of glyphs. Everything starts to explode into purple bright light. You hear
Why?
You killed the whole town. The whole town is in ruins now.
nothing seems to actually get damaged except for the sand seems, as the dust clears, the sand seems to have deep cuts into it that don't get filled in. The sand doesn't move. It seems to almost be a magical like magically stuck. And then you just hear at Zaya in your ear a very loud yell, "God damn it, not again! I swear I'm gonna kill them all!"
I did it. He did it. I told him not to.
All of you sense an extreme amount of magic suddenly flaring up at the.
Then I am going
Then
to
Zorwin is gonna
strangle
start
you
busting up
until
laughing.
You die. I am going to. Can I try to stab him repeatedly with my rapier just out of anger?
Zara's just signals cool. As you guys are like standing there and Zaya's contemplating slashing Ven, suddenly you can feel the entire ground slowly start to shake as it feels like a giant is walking towards your general direction.
Oh no. Oh no. Can I hide behind something?
There's
I've
Yes.
gone into the tunnel that I opened the door on,
Uh-huh.
and I'm debating if I want to close the door on him.
As you're looking into the tunnel, you just see
Giant.
see about 100 or roughly or so body parts of humans. Some are gnawed on, some have been chewed off, torn off. Black little balls of pus are on the ground with fleshy sacks in some corners.
And I'm thinking,
Lad, I might wanna,
maybe
you might want to get out of
this
there.
maybe this is better.
You're not wrong.
All right.
Let's walk back towards the side entrance and let's go in.
As the rest of the party is trying to slowly trying to back away from the situation, Doken, are you gonna close the door?
No, I won't close the door.
You should close the door,
I
but
think
okay.
you should. It would be funny.
All right.
There's probably things in there though.
As you're looking about, there's nothing in there, Dulkin, from what you can tell. I mean, given the fact that you have dark vision, and the tunnels are very
You can
well
just
lit,
open
though.
it back up once
Can
you
I
close it.
jump into the entrance like while it's open? Can I like duck into there trying to get away from Ven?
Sure, as you
I'll follow you.
I'm joining you. I told you that our group did very stupid things and got into very stupid situations. This is a
Then
prime
Zorwin's
example.
just gonna walk in and be like, at least
No,
I
I'm gonna
announced their
kill him
presence.
now. You're taking
As you
accountability
two
for-
start to argue, and poor Zaris and E2 are just standing out looking at you lot, Dulkin still very confused about how you lot have survived this long. You all hear a big slam of what sounds like stone on stone coming from further in the corridor where you guys are now standing, Dulkin, Ven, and Zaya.
Oh,
And out comes Doken, to your shock, a very well-dressed and almost noble-looking gnome with a bright white hair, and a iron mask on.
Piplis, is that you short bastard?
As
This
both
is
Zaris and
Piplis.
Ven insult him, Zaris, you feel your intelligence dropping. Your intelligence now goes down 1 point permanently.
Ven didn't have-
Permanently?
I only insulted
Yep.
him because I'm immortal at this point. I
Ven,
don't care.
as you start giving him shit, Piplas looks at you and says, "Oh my god, the ugly one's back." Alright.
Oh, and the stupid one. He's the one who
Ah,
did whatever happened.
felt good to use magic once in a while again.
Uh,
He
and
used it
he
smart.
looks at the
Good.
dog, and then he looks at Dolkin and says, introductions.
This is Itu. She's a beautiful, beautiful being.
Oh, thank
She,
you.
no, she somehow likes Ven, which I don't know how or why.
And he
She
looks
has better
He's
taste than
funny.
you lot.
He makes me laugh.
He looks-
gives me beer.
he looks to the dwarf and says, "And you are?"
I've made a mistake.
Yeah. He just joined us, and I asked him several times to reconsider his decision.
I am gonna take it you're a dwarf of some sort of lower standing.
And then I like clear my throat and I stand up straight and I go, Dolken Helm Shaper. I guess I do a little bow.
This one'll do. Alright, follow me. Also, whoever the idiot
I'll
is
kill
that
you through
set
the caves, that way you don't step on the dead bodies.
whoever the idiot is that set off my magic, I swear if I find out or if you ever do that again, I will put you through the worst torture of your life.
Please. Oh, Ven,
You'll have to beat
stop it,
7,000
'cause
years of
you-
living for that.
please tell me you still have the black mist you collected in the bottle for people.
Oh
I
yeah.
hold up a small vial of it.
Good.
Okay, good. You're not too.
As he
I
continues
also
to
had
walk
sell
back
my soul
in.
to save your brother, so you might want to be thankful for that. I'm gonna hold that over you for a
He,
while.
you just see Piplas
I didn't-
snap his fingers and Ven goes completely mute.
Oh,
Why
thank
did you
goodness.
do that?
That'll work. Alright, follow me. And he walks
Then
back
starts
into his
casting
laboratory.
Casting the cantrip message to Itu.
Doesn't work.
Oh, come on, that's bull.
Piplas is an asshole. And
You need to-
cold-hearted.
In order to use the cantrip message, and if you can't speak, you can't use it.
As he continues walking into his laboratory, with the rest of you following, Dolkin, you see what looks to be a giant boar at 7 feet tall with a massive
Oh.
beard standing
Oh
in
my
what looks to
gosh.
be wizard robes and a staff standing at the entrance to the door of the thing. And he just looks at you kind of funny and snorts, and then goes back to just standing at the.
I snort back at him.
Big friend.
It nods at you.
Bless him.
You have a mutual understanding
Ben's
now.
just gonna pet Itu every time she comes close.
All right.
Give
God
her a
damn
head
it.
pat.
As you continue in, you see that they're like body parts that have been pulled out. As Zaris runs up to Robert and hugs him, the boar hugs back, pats Zaris on the head.
He's sent now. He's
As-
conscious.
There are body parts lying about that have tubes running in them with different types of liquids coming out of them. You know, the occasional twitching heart, an eyeball that seems to move and watch you guys as you move about. As he opens up the door, you find a bunch of dead rats that seem to pile out of the thing. He goes, "Pardon the mess. An idiot tried to get in here."
Oh.
Now, he looks at Zaya and says, "We have a problem.
Yes.
You're not Tikva."
Yes, I told you that when we first met. I was her cousin.
Yes, but I thought you were just stupid. So, our
Really?
contract at this point is null and void. However, my master has summoned you, and you will go to Dragon's Gate. You have 1 year to complete the contract. Otherwise, we will have to kill you all. And he looks to Dolkin and says, "I apologize, but now you are included in this group."
Well, fuck.
I told you.
But Darwin
People
just
never
shrugged
listen.
with the look in his eyes like, they can't do too much to me that I haven't already been through.
Robert starts to explain to Zaris what happened and how things have been. And again, Piplu's looks at you lot and says, "So, secondly," he looks down at the dog and then back at Zaya. "You two, I'm gonna need to borrow you. A simple
Oh, why
procedure,
me?
and we'll
Then
take
Zorwin gets very protective of Itu.
I hide behind Ben, of course.
as you
Procedure of what kind? And I'm eyeing the boar that's now giant and has a beard.
not that sort of procedure. I have a request from my master, and for fulfilling it, I will grant you something, a boon.
What's a boon?
A boon is
Well, I
a
thought-
request, a favor.
Can I ask if this will alter any of our limbs
No.
or abilities?
Physically,
Okay.
you will feel no different.
I want to watch Zaya do it first, and then
no,
maybe
well-
I'll agree to it.
You two,
He
you
looks
go
at you and
first,
says,
I'll
"I'm
go.
sorry, but none of you have a choice." And at that, he pulls a cord out, and a door locks behind all of you, except for Zaris, who's in the other room talking with Robert. And then a thick thick heavy smoke starts embodying the room. Again, this gnome is wearing what looks to be a medieval gas mask, and you all can now make con saves except for Zaris, who get to see if you pass out. If you pass out quickly or slowly.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I got a 16.
Okay.
Oh, what's he gonna do to us?
Let's see.
It's a 21. Okay.
I don't want
A
no
5.
child.
And E2.
What would I?
I will
oh,
it's a D20 plus your Constitution save.
I didn't
Okay.
give consent.
Oh wait, I might have fucked that up then.
Well, you're still fine with a 21. Don't worry about it.
I just did my modifier.
All right.
Nope, it's same.
It's not
So-
considered a poison, is it?
Plus,
No.
oh.
So slowly, each of you. First, Dolkin completely drops to the ground, feeling very sleepy. Followed by E2.
Why Dibbis?
Ben.
Dibus is fine completely.
Dibbis
Nope.
doesn't have to breathe
Dibus
anymore.
doesn't.
What are you talking about?
Dibus does not is completely fine.
Robotic nose.
He needs to save us.
Zaya,
Dibbis
and
is so
then
good to save us.
finally, then
Everyone can
you
die.
each pass out.
Wait, can I do something while I'm passing out?
No. What?
I was just gonna tap my throat and point at him and be like, "Give it back."
Oh. As you slowly pass out, Piplis smiles at you, Ven. Zaris, as you're sitting out there with Robert, Robert just pats you on the says, "Don't worry, he's just taking care of a problem that is going to come to be an issue later.
Oh,
Making sure to protect your group, if not the kindest of ways."
child.
I
don't
swear to
like
God,
this.
Venzor would better not be getting more chopped off
Yeah.
down there.
Also,
Castrate him.
so for
Already got
Zaris,
slice.
as about an hour passes by, Piplis comes out, looks at you, Zaris, and offers to take. And looks at you and says, "I'll take off the choke chain now, if you don't mind." And just starts kind of walking up behind it, unclicks it, tears it off, and says, "You're free now. You've fulfilled the obligation I needed." Heads back into his
Betrayed.
laboratory, shuts it, and goes back to working. As you lot wake up, Dulkin, you found yourself, of course, waking up first, finding yourself sitting in a chair, a nice, actually comfortable leather chair, in the middle of what looks to be a inn that is now empty. Your other party members seem to be there as well, minus Zaris, who seems to be off somewhere else with his own little situation. Then,
Long lost Pigu.
Betrayal.
as you wake up, you find the necklace is now off. You still can't speak, but you can, and you can't cast any magic at this point. You find, Zaya and E2, you
I'm
feel
cursing in my mind.
as you wake up, you feel fine. You wake up across from Dolkin again in this inn, completely 100% fine, comfortable. Nothing
I
seems to be
have
different.
any Stitch sewn marks in any part of
Nope.
my body.
And as Piplis walks in, he says,
Does-
"This was a painless situation. I had to take care of some things that were going to become unnecessary in the future." And he looks to Dolkin.
Venzor's just gonna keep tapping his throat, waiting for him to
think
give
I
it back
know
because he can't argue
what it
or say
was.
anything.
He looks to Dolkin and says, "I apologize for the inconvenience. You weren't meant to be involved in this, but since you are now an honorary member of their group, I had to deal with you in a way since I don't know you.
I
I'm
don't
just
like this.
super confused.
He looks to you and says,
raises his hand and just is like, "You will," and just nods. You're gonna be.
he looks to Ven and continues to just ignore him. Looks back to Dolkin and says, allow me to
Gonna
explain
fight
and
this
introduce
gnome across the
myself.
room.
My name is Piplis. I am an embodiment of the one you probably know as the smallest dragon, his twin, if you will. Although what he has in kindness, I make up for in, let's say, straightforwardness. He ignores Ven's thoughts. But my job and what I've been sent here to do is to deal with Zaya there and make sure that she does as my master bids. You are kind of a pawn in that situation now, and I apologize for that, but there's nothing I can do otherwise.
I warned him like 5 times.
And now he looks to Zaya and says, now I've got a simple request.
Alright.
Your job, as I already know, and I've been watching you pretty much the entire time as he holds up a crystal ball.
You didn't answer my call.
I know I didn't care to. I was really hoping you'd go away. Simply put, your job is to follow through with the quest you've been given. Do your job, and we'll call it even. Your job is to eventually end up in Dragon's Gate, though. Finish up your other quests first, and then arrive there. You should arrive there within the year, mostly due to the fact that I have, my master has a request of you. You lot have been officially drafted into the Dragon's Gate military. And you will be helping them with a certain situation. And he looks to Ven, says, and you will be
Ven
going
rolls
into a
his eyes.
zoo.
No.
Ven rolls
don't
his
do
eyes.
that.
Now, if you have no other
Ven thinks,
questions,
I have more military experience than all these youngsters.
and if you have no other questions, I shall retire. There is a ship waiting for you in the dock. I have already bribed their leader with the fact that he won't die if he does as I state.
I need
And
to
you'll be
ask
transferred.
him what he did to us.
I need to ask him stuff as well, but
What I
not
did
yet.
to you, youngling, that I still don't know the name of.
Ven introduced her as Itu.
Yes, but you were muted before you got to talk. What I did to you lot is of no importance to you.
I have to know he did something to
I
us.
speak to you.
He looks at you and it says, do you assume that I would do something of nefarious deeds? Something that would dishonor a gentleman?
Yes.
As Zaris walks in with Robert. And there would be the annoying one. No, I would never do that, as I am very similar to your friend over there, and he points to Ven.
Have to
That
give consent for Ven to do
concerns me.
anything. That's his whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
That's
Consent
not what he's
is the biggest
referencing, but
crime.
sure, let's go with that. Alright. And he looks to you lot and says, there's nothing that you need to worry about. None of you have been harmed in any way or in a matter that shall have to be of a worry, nor do you have to worry in the future that there will be of any problems. Now I'm going to make this
Ven
very
thinks-
clear that this is non-negotiable. You get on that ship, you leave, and you do as you're told.
Does
I-
Ven
Ven
have his
thinks for a
voice back
moment.
yet?
No, Ven does not.
Ven thinks out to Piplis for a moment. I have a problem that your master might be able to help me with. Unmute me and I'll tell you through thought.
You feel yourself being ignored, Ven.
Piplis,
I flip him off with a mental image of a middle
have
finger.
a question before I get on the ship. If I could speak to you, perhaps a bit more in private.
Looks
You
here and says,
can accept-
flattery will do you no good, youngling, I'm sorry to
No,
say.
You promised. You told me before that if I were to give you that black mist, you could perhaps tell me about what I've been looking for answers for. The
Well,
one
feel
you
free.
wanted.
What answers are you seeking?
You said I perhaps would know the person that was the cause of her death. Do you know who that was?
Yes,
May I ask who?
that person is no longer living.
Oh.
He looks to you lot and says, I hate to inform you of this, but there has been an attack recently, as my master has informed me of. Both in the Gnomish lands, which would start off this war that recently kicked off, the territories and the estate of House Kung Pao, as well as the Hill Dwarf hold where the Crimson Talon was located and their headquarters was, were both blown up with some sort of spell. Both were completely annihilated with nothing but a crater left,
What?
leaving nothing behind. We do not know who is behind this attack. We do have our suspicions at this point, but at this point, my master has not thought that this needs to be looked into.
We should find them and seek revenge. Imagine how many people died.
Did you know these people?
Some of them.
I would not worry of it. The one you seek, though, I am sorry to say, has passed on. His name was simply Greg, known as the Bloodthirsty, one of the most illustrious military leaders and mercenaries of our time. He is now dead by all accounts. We found no remains, nothing of the Crimson Talon.
So are the Crimson Talon disbanded?
That I
Does
could not
Zoroark
tell
think
you.
back to all his memories with Greg.
That I could not tell you. From what I understand, the Crimson Talon had many branch offices, and many of them are vying for power now against one another. However, we also now have the Black Talon Guild that has been founded by Tenem Zarthis. You might also know him as Tenex.
Oh, tenant.
But there are currently many organizations that are dealing with it. There's also an assassins organization that has been popping up like crazy, that we believe might actually be possibly the reason for the death of the original Amateur Hour organization. However, we are not 100% sure if that is the case, and we are still looking into who did it.
There's so
This
many bad
assassin
people.
organization. Do you know their name?
I do not at this time.
Hmm.
And he looks to you two and says, bad is to the person's decision. There is no such thing as black and white in this world. It is a gray world, if anything else.
They're killing innocent people. That's bad.
Innocence debatable. It's the world.
He looks to
gray.
E2 and says, well, if I might, and then looks back to Dolkin. Dolkin, by chance were you there at the Battle of Kin when the Mountain Dwarfs and the Hill Dwarfs fought in front of the Blazing Hold keep?
No, but I've heard great stories.
Yes. Well, both races decided to go into a full-on war with a push for the Mountain Dwarfs to reclaim the entirety of the territories. From what I remember watching, it was a bloody battle, and both sides suffered extreme casualties. No one on either side was innocent, and either town was innocent, neither was either race innocent. The concept of innocent versus evil is long gone to this world. It's about time you lot realize this. Now, if there are no other questions, I will be returning to my laboratory.
Well, Ven still doesn't have his voice.
That's correct. And he will get
Are
his
you
voice
going
back
to give it back?
when he is on that ship and away from me. I don't want to hear him.
I have a question about Dibus, if you have the time. He's been fairly unresponsive. Is he supposed to be? So
He looks at Zaya and says, well, let me ask you something. Have you ever died before?
no.
Well, from what I understand, it's a shocking experience. Even more so to have your body revived. It can tend to stick with a person, from what I know. And thus, I imagine that most likely he is somewhat mute, more due to that factor. Enjoy the fact that you now have a silent bodyguard.
Is he mute like Itu was mute? Darn.
More of shock, if you will. And probably
Aw.
will remain that way until one day another shock hits him. Now again,
We need to traumatize him again.
if you have no more questions, I will explain one last thing.
Excuse me, I have
Yes.
one question. I'm
Feel.
pretty sure I didn't get blacked out here, so where are we now?
You are still in the same town, and he opens up a window and points across to the other side of the pier and says, you'll see a balcony over there, and you can see that the windows are open. As you kind of peer through, you see what looks to be the laboratory where you passed out. And he says, I moved you.
Carried all of us?
Carried is a interesting word to use, but sure, let's go with that. Also, I will mention, as many of you have your own goals, and I've already given you recommendations on where to seek out your goals. He looks to Dolkin and says, "You said your name was Helmshaper, correct?
Yes.
My guess is that you're of the concept of a smith, and you're looking for someone of some similar background."
Yes. Do you know of Ugum? Ugum.
There you go.
Haven't quite figured out how to pronounce things yet.
No worries. All right. He looks at you and says, "Yes, my master has informed me he has been settled and has been designing items for the group known as the Grim Legacy in Dragon's Gate. That will be where you'll find him. However, last I was told, he was rather drunk. Apparently, he's very good with making rum, but he was very bad at selling the product."
Well, any good dwarf is mostly drunk.
Well, when you meet him, you'll understand. But yes, he is supposedly in Dragon's Gate as of current. He has been designing weapons and armor for the common soldiers out there at a hefty price, if I might add. Although I hear some of his apprentices are out and about, as you might find them in different territories. He has taken, from what I know, of about 7. So one being even in the town that you guys just came from.
Will
I heard
Robert
of
be
that.
coming with us?
Robert shall join you when he needs to.
Well,
When I feel the need, I will send him. And as your leader does have my information, she can contact me when that does become an issue."
if you pick up.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He taps E2 on the head, kind of a little rougher than usual, and says,
Hey.
"If I pick up, that is correct. Now, off with you lot." And he just kind of suddenly turns around and walks off down the hallway.
Yep, I'll grab Dibus's arm and lead him towards the ship
Alright,
with me.
as
He's
you
really cool. I don't understand why you guys were all, oh, he's big, scary, bad guy. He was neat.
He knocked us out with gas within seconds, and we were completely vulnerable to him and all his whims. Had he not wanted us alive, we would be dead right now. Do you
At
not
least he
find
didn't
that
kill us.
scary?
Yeah, but then he put us in these comfortable chairs. I don't see the downside.
Yeah.
We're useful to him. If you're useful, you're kept alive. I suggest we stay useful. And she just continues out.
Someone's gotten the whole point of how Zopip works. All right, yeah. As you guys start to slowly head down, kind of getting your feet underneath you, really, heading down onto the ship, hopping on. You notice the ship has fully stacked with ale, mead, whiskey, and provisions of a lot of different types of fish already pre-cooked and salted and set up to eat.
Can we eat them?
It
Oh, I
seems
thought
to be
you'd
made
ask
for
about
you.
the alcohol first.
I want fish.
It seems to have been made for you, as you realize also the crew that is operating the ship seems very quiet.
Oh, yeah, because he threatened them. All right, I'm going to dig in and start eating.
Most of
Dibus
them seem to be
is
wearing...
How happy is Dibus to see fish?
Dibus is completely unemotional.
Oh boy. I'm gonna try to
You can
offer
offer
fish
him.
to him. Yeah, I'm
He
gonna offer fish to him to eat it.
he grabs it and starts chewing on it, still staring off with that 1,000-yard stare.
Zaya looks dejected and eats her own fish.
The crew seems to be very quiet. In fact, none of you hear them once speak a word as they
And
continue.
Zerwin's going to,
Yes?
since he's on the ship now, look at our fearless leader, Zaya, and say, Last, if he'd actually died and he's back, he's not going to snap out of that for a while.
I'm well
I've been
aware.
there. That is a very, very dark place.
Well, you're also some kind of immortal freak. I
Yeah,
don't know
I'm
what
immortal, but the first time I died, it was a shock to hell. It took a long time for me to snap out of it.
Then you
kinda-
start to remember back to your first time when you were founding the Mountain Elf Kingdom, fighting off the High Elves, and actually managed to get cut down by the Emperor himself of the High Elf Emporium, where he managed to slice you straight down from neck to all the way down one of your legs, completely almost splitting you in half. And the pain, it took 3 days for you to come back as you found yourself buried in a hole.
Yeah.
You guys are just lucky you didn't fucking bury him. He'd be feeling a lot worse then.
Saya she was kind of staring at like the ground while she's eating the fish. She kind of looks at you. She looks fairly upset, and she kind of is like, "Look, if I wanted to ask you about
Oh.
this, I would have asked you and speak to you. I'd rather be left alone right now."
As you start to get kind of crying, upset, Dibus pats you on the head silently. Not still staring straight ahead, completely not looking at you.
She hugs him, and she just kind of sits there quietly with him.
Okay.
Dolkin,
Anyways, he's gonna go and pat it too now.
Dolkin,
Get
as
to
you
help
get
feed
onto
her
the
fish.
ship, getting down below, you actually find a small little smithy that's set up to where you can actually work it. And there's a couple of bars of iron, some copper, and some interesting materials that you've never seen before.
I immediately
make a
set to
long
work
sword?
on figuring out what all of it is.
All right.
Can he
First
make a
off,
long sword?
well, first thing that catches your attention is a weird blue rock. This material, go ahead and give me a investigation check first.
Would
See
he
if
have
you.
advantage for it being Smith related?
Not necessarily, because this isn't a material he would know as a common smith.
I mean, because
This
they would have probably heard stories about it, but
material seems to have a very strong magical presence to it, and seems to glow as you kind of move it with your hand and react. You feel any magic spell that you have that's not based on divine magic, start to. It feels like it's almost getting stronger within you.
Interesting.
The other item seems to be two things of wood, two small little pallets. One seems to again give off a very similar feel to it, as it's this pasty white wood that's very smooth and seems to have a blue, like crystal vein going through it. That seems to give off a similar feeling. And then the last one seems to be a bright red wood, very similar to a brighter version of what would be cherry oak.
Bloodwood.
This. No. This also seems to have a very strong magical presence. You recognize this material, though, as a very common and well-known material as Greatwood, which is used in many magic users' staves, as well as in many enchanted items for a pommel.
The first piece of wood you described, it was like a white wood.
Yes, with a blue vein like going through it.
And then the metal was bluish.
Yes. However, you've never worked with this material before. Alright. Now, as you guys start to set off, settling into the cabin below, the crew never sleeping, never
Having
dilly-dallying
Kraken
from their
flashbacks.
work. Huh?
Having Kraken flashbacks.
You guys slowly start to head out into the ocean. Zaris sitting up on the deck, watching for more to show up, just in case.
Boy.
Nothing's. Travels are pretty safe overall. It's calm, relaxing. The water doesn't seem to cause any issues. On the occasion, you see a dolphin that'll jump up and then sink below.
Whoa, a dolphin!
The crew again seems unresponsive as some of you try to chat with them. None of them seem to talk in their cloaked clothing. You can't even really see their faces, to be honest.
That's suspicious, but okay.
As you lot continue on your journey, I will ask if you need I will go down the order from top to bottom to see if you guys have anything specific you want to do while you're on your journey. This is going to take about 3 months overall to get to where you're going.
Really?
Yes.
well,
So I'm going to start from top to bottom. Dolkin, you have 3 months of travel. What is your plan?
All right. Well, my first question is,
Mhm.
how lenient are you with? I have Channel Divinity Artisan's Blessing, which I can make a simple or martial weapon, a suit of armor,
Mhm.
and some various other things that are total than less than 100 gold every day.
Mhm.
So could I make? Somebody was asking about swords. Could I make swords?
Longsword needed.
Armor. I want better armor.
Again, as long as it falls under 100 gold.
Yeah. So I will I'll go around, ask what people need, what people want, and I'll see if I can make all that.
I'll
stuff
give
for you.
him the 2 daggers in exchange. Oh, it's half plate. I'll give him the 2 daggers in exchange for the longsword.
Okay. And anybody else need anything?
What can he exactly fully do with that again?
Pretty much any basic equipment.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basic equipment.
So
Half
anything
plate's
that's
out of his range, but
anything that's unenchanted and is simple would be what he can make.
Mhm.
Like if you name a weapon, I can probably make it, and I think most of like the starter armor seems to be in that same group.
breastplate's out of your reach, but chainmail is within it, which means I might want to get chainmail. Yeah, chainmail would probably be better for me right now.
Okay. So you managed to make a long. You can go ahead and then and add a basic longsword and chainmail to your inventory from Dolken.
Yay!
And then E2, do you need any equipment or are you good?
I am not well versed on D&D equipment. Do you have any suggestions? Because I'm like frantically researching and
So you're playing a
Oh, yeah.
rogue, so most of your stuff is going to be light and try to avoid anything that would hurt yourself. So basically anything that's leather based would be good for you. And then for weapons and stuff, again, stuff that's close quarters or distance wise, depending on the style of fighting you want to do.
I already have light leather armor.
I can't do leather armor anyways. It has to include metal.
So
Okay.
studded, you could theoretically.
Studied, yeah, of
Really? Could you do that for me?
course.
Would it affect my stealth at all as
Studded
class?
armor should not. So you can go ahead and here, I'll toss that into your inventory too.
Okay, Brain is having a meltdown because when I equip the chainmail, it lowers my AC instead of raising it by a point.
That's because
Chainmail
you
doesn't
might.
have a dex bonus on it. Might be what you have.
All right, there's
Well, I'm
your.
a cleric, so technically it
But you are using half plate. Half plate is 15 plus dex,
ha-
and then chainmail is flat 16.
no, it's because I don't have proficiency with heavy armor, even though I'm a cleric, which is odd. But
Because you were originally a warlock or wizard, whatever the hell it was.
sorcerer.
Magic caster, that was useless. All right, Zaya, did you need anything else?
Yeah,
Well, having a
looking
longsword
for
still, because that's
stuff.
still a way better weapon than what I had.
I will
I don't
mention.
know how. I
Yeah.
don't know how you track ammo, but I can make like arrows. I would
Oh,
assume.
yeah, yeah, I could use crossbow bolts.
All right.
I can make all those.
Let's see. How many would be? Oh God, I gotta remember gold wise.
I have 36 of those.
Let me
And
remember.
they're, for 36, it's 1.8 gold.
Yeah, I can do 10 a day
So,
as long as they're
Back
less than
me
100.
up with some crossbow bolts.
how many are you looking to get, Zaya?
Let's see. I would say I have 18 right now, so I would like maybe 12 more, even it out to like 30 bolts.
Okay, that
If
shouldn't be a
I'll
problem.
I'll do 10 days worth of it, so you get 20, or
Oh,
2 days
sweet.
worth, so you get 20.
Sweet.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll take that. You're so useful. I'm so glad you joined.
There you go.
Now, my dwarf could have been useful here, but he was dead.
And you bitch a lot about your characters. All right. And then Zaris, did you need anything? I know you're a druid, so there's not much as far as metal gear that you'd wear, but
It can be like any other thing too.
yeah.
How much is Dolken doing this for free? Is he charging us?
It's just a thing I can do once a day, so I just offer up the service.
And he's got
He's doing it for free?
he's got time to kill.
I got time to kill.
And this is good practice for any smith.
Yeah.
All right.
It's more or less, it's convenient for him.
Yeah, and then anytime I'm not doing those
Mhm.
things, I'm just trying to figure out more about this blue metal and these special woods.
All right. Well, first off, the blue metal you find out is a thing called lyrium. This material highly enchants pretty much any item, is basically required for any type of enchanting in an item, causing it to carry spells and have charges. This can also enchant armor or any sort of trinkets of your own, and can be used to also turn into something to store magic.
I don't use any of that in any of their equipment.
I assume not. Because a bar of lyrium, as you start to study it, you realize this would probably go for around 700 to 800 gold pieces easily.
Wow.
This is a very expensive material and very, very dangerous when mining it. When it's refined, it's pretty much fine, but mining it can cause a person to go crazy from too much magical presence on their body. And sometimes it can actually drain the magic out of a person depending on the type. The second material is called Blentwood. Blentwood is used for, again, magic items. It's very good for crafting magical staves. It's better than Greatwood because it holds more charges and has a stronger ability to hold higher spell magic. Roughly, most items that are used with this are for spells from level 7 to 9, whereas Greatwood is usually 1 to 6. So, you also find you have some basic other pieces of metal like copper, bronze, and some other simple ingots, a little bit of gold here and there. Nothing too ecstatic. All right.
Take all the gold.
Dilkin, did you have anything else you wanted to do during the 3 months?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I would. No. One of the other things I would have done is probably on like the first night
Mhm.
is done. Let me find it. I think it's purified food and drink. I would have done that on all the food
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Making sure. Gotcha.
just to make sure.
All right. And next up, E2. Is there anything you would do during the 3-month voyage?
I don't know. What can I do?
Well, it depends on what you're looking to do. I mean, there's not much to do on a ship, I'll be honest, and there isn't anything special set aside for you. So,
Yeah, I'm not very special.
well, not in the regard of
You
stuff
could turn
that.
into a fish temporarily and swim with the ship.
I'm not gonna get eaten.
Yeah, Zaris
Okay,
knows
no
all about
sharks.
that. There are scarier things than sharks in this water. Yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, it's a very peaceful voyage. And really the only thing that was unique was the small smithy that was put into the bottom of the ship. Because again, Piplis doesn't know much about you, E2, having never really personally met you. Zilpip knows a lot about you, and although Piplis does share knowledge with him, the problem does come to the fact that he doesn't see anything that he could offer you.
Honestly, I think I'm just gonna walk around and
Spend time with the
spend
Zoan.
time with spend time with my crewmates and also Ben.
Okay.
And
Didn't
if I
feel
ever saw
special.
her just kind of wandering around, I would have offered to like maybe teach her the basics of forging.
Okay.
Really? Could you?
You're gonna teach a
Sure.
dog how to forge. Got it.
Yeah, I don't see why that's a problem.
Not at all. Sheepdog with very long fur next to a fiery forge. That's not a bad idea at all. All right.
That's fine.
Good
Okay.
news, you don't
I
catch on
heard
fire.
that.
E2, as time goes on, during the 3 months, you managed to understand the very basics. You can now forge, give in the right materials, the basic weapons without any bonuses or increases or enchantments. So, very basic weapons.
Oh, wow.
You are a quick study under Dulkin, and he's a very good teacher for you. All right.
That's super sweet.
Then, what would you like to do? Anything special?
Ven's gonna spend this time trying to adjust to this new body and train it up to be able to wield a sword better and wield heavier armor better.
All right. So heavier armor and so dex and strength you're increasing, correct?
Yep.
All right. Go ahead and give me a d20 roll. No advantage, no bonuses.
Alright. Dicey, please be nice.
All right. As time goes
Right
on,
down the middle.
you manage to slowly get a little bit more comfortable with the armor you're wearing. Not enough to where it's a second skin yet. And same thing with the sword. You're getting better with it, but still not quite to that point. Given there's no real targets to attack, nothing really to test hitting with, and getting your body
I mean,
used
I
to the
could test it
reaction.
out on the crew.
You get this idea that would probably be a bad idea.
I'm not saying it would be a good idea. I mean, I could, but Gonzoro's a dick. He's not just a murderer.
Fair enough.
And the rest of the time, any time that I don't spend training, he's going to spend trying to learn, see if Itsu's okay, and keeping an eye on her, and speaking with the dwarf.
Alright,
Because
nothing.
obviously Tiefling does not like him.
Nothing seems wrong with E2 as time goes on.
I've like as the farther in the trip, I've just started gathering a class.
Pretty much, you're now becoming your own master. All right. Next is Zaris, if he's there. Is there anything you want to do during your 3 months? Foka, you there?
I tamed another whale.
Oh God, I don't know if he doesn't start typing in the next couple seconds. I'm gonna assume he's not there. There
No,
we
he's
go.
He's
here,
typing.
he's typing.
I asked you what you're planning on doing during your 3-month voyage. Is there anything specific you want to do? And I will mention Robert is not with you.
Oh.
So you can't cuddle him for 3 months straight.
Tame another whale.
That-
Attempt. If at first you don't succeed, cry again.
Cry again. Oh, that's accurate for your party.
It's sad.
Start sea shanties.
Yo ho, blow man down.
No.
Oh, I can learn how to sing shanties.
I mean, I'm a bard.
mean-
I probably know sea songs.
Let's sing.
Uh,
Let's do this.
yes, Zaris, what are you thinking? I guess try and tame more varieties of sea animals.
Oh boy.
Oh, you
Okay.
can do that?
Yeah, he can. He's a
He's a
druid.
Druid.
All right, Mr. Druid, give me a d20 plus your magic modifier, which I believe for you is, I want to say wisdom? I'm probably wrong on that. Let me look. It's been so long. It is your, yeah, it's +3. So, d20 +3. All right, you managed to tame a small dolphin. It's
That's so cute.
that
Can we
seems
follow
to
this
follow it
dolphin?
across. No, as it seems to come along with you, this thing seems to be of a darker gray color, and it looks like a normal dolphin that seems to follow the ship.
Friend.
Congratulations, you have a baby dolphin.
Aw.
Anything else,
You
Zaris?
should name it before it dies.
Oh, don't ever name your pets in this world, unless you're gonna leave it with Piplas to have it turned into a sentient being.
I mean,
Make it a
if it's a
cyborg
dolphin, it's already kind of sentient. It has a higher intelligence than most creatures.
That's true.
Cyborg dolphin.
Yeah, I want a dolphin that can walk on land. So you can.
No, that's
take
a
with you.
kung fu shark. We do not want a
Uh,
kung fu shark here.
No, firstly to that, and second, yes. What's the second? And no, we are not doing Kung Fu Shark.
Kung Fu dolphin.
No.
That's
But a
worse than kung fu
friendly
shark.
one.
Dolphins can breathe air, they just can't walk on land.
Yeah, I want one that can walk on land.
Give it legs? You want to experiment with
Yeah.
it and give it legs?
I suppose try and work on my druidic magic more. All right. We'll roll for that after session to see what you're specifically looking for magic spells. All right, and then lastly is Zaya. What were you looking to do?
Okay, I got a few things. Number one, I have a question. Are there like any maybe like alchemist supplies on
Nope.
the ship? Or anything like that? No. Okay. Alright, darn, that goes plan number one.
That's fair.
I could
Is
make
there
some.
okay, I want to try to look around for like information on the ship, just like anything of recent news.
Nope.
Anything
There's no
Nope.
books. There's no paper. There's nothing.
That's so lame.
This ship is so boring. The people okay. Question 3, the people on it. Are they actually people? Can I tell like
Give me
are
an
they, like,
investigation
animated
check.
corpses? Okay, because I'm wondering if they have souls, because I kind of owe a Kraken a few souls.
You're gonna kill them or take their
I'm
souls?
considering it. Considering I didn't go full with it because I don't want to kill the people driving the ship, but I want to see what they are first. Okay, I got 21.
21. As you've managed to finally stalk one long enough, it never takes off its leather gear that is fully hooding its face, but you get a glimpse at the right kind of light and realize that there's a bunch of sewing, what looks to be stitches, and you start to realize the hands, some of them have different colored fingers that don't look right. You start to notice stitch marks on the fingers themselves as well. You get the idea that these are sewn together bodies.
Yeah, they're animated corpses. Okay, no souls here.
That's
Okay.
nasty. You can hang out with Itu and Ven if you want.
Nah, I'm gonna actually. That's also
She hates Ben too much.
a thing. Alright, so I no alchemist supplies. People are zombies. I want to. I guess. Alright. One of the things I think Zaya's gonna do probably during a lot of 3 times singing, but she wants to specifically try playing music near Dibis. Probably maybe like songs reminiscing of maybe the past they've had together on their own little ventures, trying to see if she can get any reaction from him with her singing and music.
As you start to sing and spend your evenings kind of trying to catch his attention, regaling him with tales and such, the face never changes. It's still unemotional, thousand-yard stare.
Oh.
Well, I guess I just sing to comfort him. Alright.
All right.
The true question is, are you comforting him
It is.
or yourself?
I'm comforting both of them. Music is how she comforts herself. I have another question
Yeah.
here. Does anyone on the ship, zombie or otherwise, have a rapier? Or
I can make
I guess
one.
because Zaya wants to. She's very killable. She's very squishy. She's a bard. She wants to be better at not dying. She's almost died several times now.
Ben would be
So
up
she
for
wants
sparring
to-
with you.
Yeah. I guess Ven, because he can't die. She wants to spar and try to get better, specifically with her new rapier, but just like in general magic fighting, like offensive. She wants to be better at fighting, getting involved in combat.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ben will help train her, no problem.
All right. Go ahead, Zaya, and give me a d20 roll and tell me what you get.
Alright.
No modifiers.
Yep, just a d20. That's a 3.
As time goes on, it seems that Ven's getting more out of the training than you. You've learned that by poking him, he bleeds, but as far as the ability to block and stop him, you're still using your rapier more like a dagger, as you're so much more accustomed to daggers than anything else. And as you lot kind of relax and enjoy your time on this boat, finally you can see off. Coming through, as you come around what would be basically the equivalent of Spain, you see the giant statues of what look to be Duergar standing up, one with an axe, one another with a shield. These are the opening gates into the sea itself and into what would be the Dwarven territories and eventually into the Gnomish lands. Continuing through, you can see the villages, people wave at you on occasion as you guys continue to stick closer to the coast than anything else. And as you finally can see in the horizon, the Gnomish lands, the only thing really giving it away is all the dead trees and valleys of dead grass. You can see a massive battle taking place at the edge, right at the shore where your boat is heading straight for and not stopping. As the man starts to kind of hum the one at the helm, a weird war-sounding chant. As you guys get closer and closer.
Did Denzorin recognize any of the old people that waved, if any old people waved?
No, not at all. And as suddenly you notice there's a big drum that one of the other crewmates comes up with up onto the top of the deck and starts just beating it to the chant.
Oh.
Okay, Ben's gonna say, everyone, you might want to get ready for a fight.
And with that, next session, we will come back to a battle. Thank you all for those who have watched. I hope you enjoyed. I am your DM as always, and thank you to Rejected Potential for their great time and enjoyment of the game. We will see you next Sunday with the continuing adventures and death of hopefully Zaya. Alright, thank you all, and see you next time.